Imam Muhasibi said that, take account of yourself at every passing thought or passing attraction that basically occurs to you. So when you have that fleeting thought of, I wish I could, or if only I could do that, or I want to do that, or etc. He's saying that at that moment it's extremely important that we are able to take account of ourselves in that moment and try to stop ourselves there. Why? Because as Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya says, the fleeting thought turns into a desire, which then has to be fought a lot harder, which subsequently turns into a firm intention and resolution, which then is a lot harder to kind of go back from, which basically means you're about to do things, and then eventually it turns into an action. Then an action, if repeated, turns into a habit, and then once it's a habit, it can, a habit can, a habit in its worst form is an addiction, so that you end up dependent upon your habit, right? So when that happens, it's painful to let go of, right? A person suffers when they try to let go of it. So they've gone through all that stage where it's now an addiction, or a habit, but actually it just began as a fleeting thought, a fleeting attraction at that point. And the point he's making is basically to stop bad habits developing. Try to guard yourself, take account of yourself when it's just a fleeting thought. And then he says وَرَاقِبِ اللَّهَ فِي كُلِّ نَفَسٍ. And I suppose you can say that this next sentence is is the methodology for how to take account of ourselves. So taking account of ourselves can be difficult if we have a strong attraction to what it is that faces us. But in that moment, an alternative, a more powerful state of mind is muraqabatullah. It's this idea of being mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why it's quite appropriate that he follows up taking account of yourself with be mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's almost as if meditate the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with every single breath, because that is powerful enough to overcome anything. If a person can get into the habit, this is a habit, right? If you can get into the habit of every time a waswasa or something of fitna presents itself to us, or something wrong that is attractive to us presents itself to us, the one thing that can probably almost certainly overpower it is to become mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that moment. In that moment, just think of Allah, right? And that will probably overpower whatever it is that a person is thinking. And of course, on the Day of Judgment, the account is so detailed that everything that we hear, see, think is questioned on the Day of Judgment. Inna as-sam'a wal basara wal fu'ada kullu ulaika kana anhu mas'ula. That indeed the hearing, the sight, and the mind, if you like, the fu'ad, the heart, the mind, are all on the Day of Judgment interrogated and questioned. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَوُضِعَ الْكِتَابُ فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُشْفِقِينَ مِمَّا فِيهِ وَيَقُولُونَ يَا وَيْلَتَنَا مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. That on the Day of Judgment, the account will be presented or placed, the book will be placed, the book of deeds will be placed, and you will see people who have wronged themselves, the mujrimun, the criminal types, the sinning types, start to fear what is recorded within the book. مُشْفِقِينَ مِمَّا فِيهَا وَيَقُولُونَ. And then as the details are presented to them, they'll say, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. What is it with this book that it hasn't left out a big sin or the minutest of things, except that it has recorded it. So this is this is the danger of not taking account of ourselves on the day of judgment, that ultimately we're delaying the inevitable. The inevitable is on the day of judgment, there will be an account, there will be a hisab, there will be a reckoning.